You are about to experience an actual session with the great teacher Mora. Mora is a spirit. He has no physical body. He lives on the astral plane, the astral being the plane of existence just above the physical. He is a highly evolved being who wishes to help us while we wander through the jungle of life. He is similar to what one calls a guardian angel. Mora will be speaking to a small group of students who are gathered together for the purpose of communicating with an inner plane teacher to gain knowledge. A trance medium will be acting as the mediator between the group and the spirit teacher. The trance medium goes into sort of a sleep state so that the teacher may use his body to speak through. As Mora speaks, you will notice that he has occasional problems forming words. Being a spirit, he must adjust to the physical body he has taken over. His thoughts must now be slowed down and verbalized. To help alleviate this condition, and to keep his voice clear, Mora will take occasional sips of water. You will not find this too distracting when you realize the difficulty in this type of undertaking. The session that you are now going to take part in is the first in a series of lessons Mora will be giving. It is entitled, Your Purpose on Earth. He will explain what we are on Earth for, and what our physical plane existence is all about. He desired that the information given out be given in proper order. This cassette will be the first message. We are about to begin. The room is completely calm. The medium has slowly been entering a trance state. The next voice you hear will be Mora of the astral plane.
Good evening, students.
Good evening.
Let me introduce myself. I am the teacher Mora, and I come from the astral plane. I usually work with the new souls that arrive here and try to awake them to let them know that they're only in one more plane of existence on their way back to the Father. When the students down here on Earth asked me to give these lectures so they could tape them and give them out through the country that they're going to do with them, I agreed to it. Because, students, the more souls that we can wake up, which makes it a lot easier for the teachers that do work on this earth plane, that walk with you. And when the time comes when you leave these vehicles that you're in, it makes it a lot easier for you. A lot of you students think, as you grow into this earth plane, exactly what are you here for? You go through your life of tangles, of fears, and you look at yourself and say, what is it all worth? Some of you regret for even coming into these bodies. And what I'm going to try to do is make it easier for you through this life on earth. When you fail in one thing, where you could take it and laugh it off and look at the subject you failed in and correct it and not take it so hard. By examining something that happened to you and sitting down and looking at it and say, what lesson did I learn from this on my way to achievement of awareness? You're here on the earth plane, students, of just like you're going to school. So many say, why was I ever born? Students, you asked to come back to this earth plane to learn. You came here to learn. And when you left the astral plane, before you came into these bodies, you had all the instructions to carry you through this life, to achieve those lessons you come down here to learn. But through the terrors of this earth plane, you forget all this. Different teachings come in to you. So you walk blind down the street. You don't know where you've been, and you don't know where you're going. And we thought, in the astral plane, with this group that I'm speaking to, if we could just make it a little bit easier for you to take that this life can be beautiful if you apply yourself right to it. Always think of this life here on earth as you're going to school. You're down here to learn. And when something does happen to you, you know it's a lesson you're supposed to learn. No matter what, you always come out of it. But the main point of it, did you learn something from it? Did you learn a little love, or to give a little more love? For there is many, many obstacles in your way that teaches you. For when you see a man on earth here that is grumpy, what do you learn from him? You learn not to be grumpy. When you see a man down here on earth that is a miser, you learn from him not to be a miser. So you have all these lessons, students, in front of you. And as we go through these lectures that I'm going to give in a period of 7 tapes, I'm going to show you through my directions and follow them, where you can see ahead and how to handle the situations here on earth. You're going to learn how to leave these vehicles that you're in. When I speak of the vehicle, students, I'm speaking of the body. How to leave these and come up. We call it up because it's just a different dimension of the earth plane. To the astral plane. To learn why you're here on earth. What's ahead of you on earth. After each lecture, I'll give you a little something to work on. And students, you follow my directions. You won't have no difficulty at all in this life. One thing we all come here to earth for, we learn to love. To love thy brother. Without love, students, you won't learn nothing. The main thing of this whole earth life is love. To send love. To send love to people. To different students. This is what this whole life is about. And if you don't accomplish it, students, you're going to be right back here on earth going through the same thing again. And this is what I'm here for. To try to help you. Every one of you students in this room, and the students that'll be listening to these tapes, You all have spiritual teachers. And the main thing is to get to know your teacher. Let them help you with your problems. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you through this life. And when you don't listen to them, they get discouraged, just like I get discouraged with the souls that come to the astral plane after they leave their vehicle. Some call it heaven, and some call it hell. Some of them expect a big man with a white robe and white beard to be sitting there to judge them. But through these tapes, students, you will learn how beautiful it's going to be when you're ready to leave this body. Some of you will leave them when you're young, some when you're old. But always remember this, students. You picked the time that you wanted to spend on this earth. When you come into these bodies and you picked them, you gave yourself a number of years to accomplish your lessons that you figured you had to learn. Some figured they could accomplish them in less time than others. But you picked the time. So when you're laying on that bed, ready to come back home, don't feel sorry for yourself, because you picked the time. I want to teach you, students, instead of walking down a block and don't know what's around the corner, I want to teach you to be up on top so you can look around the corner to see what's coming for you. So many students on this earth, they don't even take the time to smile. They figure life is so rough on them. They figured everything that's happening to them, that the whole world is on them. If they would just take a little time and sit down and start thinking that they created the whole problems themselves. Always remember this, students, you only are of what you think you are. If you think yourself, for instance, that you're an alcoholic, that's what you're going to be. Because the Father says He made man into the image of Himself. And where the Father can create, you can create. You can create good all around yourself and love, or you can create hate and fear around yourself. I think the biggest problem on the earth plane right now with most students is the word fear. They're afraid of tomorrow. What's tomorrow going to bring? And through these lectures that I'll be giving, we'll show you how to face tomorrow, where you'll be looking forward for tomorrow. You came down here on earth to learn. So look at it this way, that you're going to school. That's all. Just look at it as that you're going to school. And always remember, there's somebody with you to help you. You always got a teacher to help you through your troubles. And the troubles you got, students, you created them yourself. Nobody created them for you. You create everything by your thinking. For if you would always think good and love, you would never have no troubles. Just as simple as that. For if a student comes down here to correct himself over an alcoholic problem, or bitterness, or hate, this is what he has to overcome in this life. And if he doesn't, students, he comes right back here and goes through the same thing again till he does overcome it. But most people are blind when it comes to this. They get so wrapped up in their earthly goods, material stuff, that they don't have time to even think, or they're afraid, students, to even think of death. They're so wrapped up in material stuff of this earth plane, they don't want to think of death, of leaving this body. But eventually, student, it's going to happen. And they're going to have to face it. The churches speak of the devil. The devil this. The devil does this. Students, the devil does nothing. Are you the devil? Just think about that for a minute. Do you think the devil's out here? Or is the devil in here? In you? Or is the devil the material stuff of this earth that that the students get hung up so much on? Of trying to achieve this, achieving this, of working their life, of trying to be something, and when they do achieve it, then they look back and say, what did I do this for? All this work, and it's not like I expected it to be. So you have all these temptations on earth that's taking you through this life. It's like a magnet pulling you here, pulling you there. Best thing to do is close your eyes and picture that beautiful bright golden light that will shine. That's way out. And picture yourself achieving yourself to that light, which we call the Father, the Creator, or the Godhead. For I am not saying, student, that it is wrong to have material things, if they are used right. Don't let the material things control you. You control them. It's just like physical love. A good example is that. Like physical love can turn into hate. You go out and you buy yourself a brand new automobile. The first couple months, you love it, don't you? But soon as that car starts giving you trouble, you begin to turn hateful to it. And this is what we call physical love. That can turn into hate. What we all want to achieve is divine love, universal love. And students, all this knowledge of just briefly what I'm talking about here is yours, just for the asking. All this knowledge of what you're doing here on earth is here, waiting to be given to you if you want to take the time and get this information of knowledge that you need to carry you through this life. You can look back on your life here on earth now and look over the hills, the mountains that you climbed, and think back, it wasn't too bad. Probably was good times. Maybe there's some times you'd like to forget about. But why not know what hill or mountain's coming, students, ahead of time, so you can handle the situation? That learn that this life on earth can be beautiful. But one thing, students, you gotta live this life, not just 1 hour a week of going to church. You gotta learn how to live this 24 hours a day of earth time. "24 hours a day." Be aware of yourself. Always picture yourself as one of the golden lights of the Father. And what the golden light means is love. Create yourself into a big ball of love. It's number one thing you're going to have to learn. Never, never, students, ever look down upon yourself. Because if you look down upon yourself, everybody's going to look down upon you. Because you send it out. If that's all you can send out is how low you are, what are other people going to say? Exactly what you're sending out, am I not right? But if you send yourself out as a well human ball of love, and this comes out of you, what can the other students think of you, the other people? Of nothing but love. And you get this love all surrounded around you. that you go through this life beautiful. And when you're ready to enter the astral, ready to leave these vehicles or these bodies that you're in, and you can look at your teacher, whatever his or her name is, and say, I am ready to come home. I achieved my duties here on earth, and I'm ready to be received by you into the astral to go on the long road back to the Father. Think of everything I said, and the ones that purchase this tape, play this tape over and over and catch every word that I said. And the main thing is always think of love. I know it's hard to do here on earth because you got so many magnets pulling against you of different turmoils and stuff through life. But you trained yourself to talk. You trained yourself to walk. So it's just as easy to train yourself to love. And help your other brother or sister along through this path. And we'll all evolve together. And you students that I'm speaking through, and the ones that'll be listening to the tapes, when you get your tapes and you can leave your bodies just for astral projection to learn your lessons, I want to be there to welcome you into the astral for your little visit. Now, students, is there any questions?
Mark,
Yes.
how do we know that you really are a spirit?
Did I not give you instructions
Yes.
of how to achieve yourself?
Yes.
Did you find out that everything I said was proved to you?
Yes.
Do you still have doubts in me?
No.
For then I must speak the truth. For the truth, students, can be proven. The truth always can be proven through yourself. Is there any other questions? No other questions? For the lesson that I gave on this first tape, for the new students that will be listening to this tape, for your first achievement of trying to getting out of the body, the most important thing to do first is learn to relax. Just sit in a chair and let yourself relax. Just let yourself go. And then when you feel relaxed, The next step is to picture yourself out of the body. Imagine yourself out of the body. For a time, you will leave the body. And another thing is, before you go to sleep at night, say to yourself, I will remember everything that happens to me while I'm asleep. Whether you like it or not, students, when you do fall asleep, your soul or your astral body does leave. It does leave and come to the astral plane. But the only problem is nobody or very few remember actually what happens. When you leave. And one way that will confirm that you left, did you ever wake up in the middle of the night like your body jumped? Because this is the soul re-entering the body. Like the student I'm speaking through, sometimes he comes in so fast he flies right out of bed. But that's of just some of the things to do to learn how to project on the body. For I'll close with this tape now. And I always say, let the light of the Father shine down in you, and let the light shine out of you, so other students can look at you and say, this is the way. Good night.
Good night.